The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not peaceful silence. Wrong silence. My living room clock had stopped at 2:17, but my phone said 11:42. The air felt heavy like rain without clouds, and I couldn't explain why. Then the hallway light blinked twice. Slow, like a warning. I stood there, holding my keys, and a thought hit me hard. Do not go inside yet. I laughed under my breath, because it sounded ridiculous, but my hand still wouldn't move. Not toward the door, not 1 inch. And that was the moment everything changed. My name is Caleb Mercer. 36. Office job. Quiet life. I lived outside Columbus, Ohio. A small rental house. Nothing fancy. That night, I left work late again. I told myself it was temporary. I always said that. The road home was nearly empty. Street lights smeared across wet pavement. My radio kept losing signal. It crackled, then died, then came back softer. I turned it off. I wanted calm, but calm wouldn't come. Something felt wrong. Not scary yet, just off, and I couldn't explain why. I had ignored 3 calls from my sister. Not because I hated her, because I didn't want the talk. The "how are you really" talk. Her name was Renee. She prayed like breathing. I used to pray too. Before life got noisy, I kept telling her I was fine, even when I wasn't. That night, I texted her anyway. Just one line. Heading home. All good. The message sent. But it didn't make me feel better. It made me feel smaller. When I turned onto my street, everything looked normal. Porch lights, parked cars, winter trees. But I noticed something strange. No dogs barking. Not one. Not even the old beagle next door. My tires rolled slowly over the asphalt. The sound felt swallowed. I passed my neighbor's house. Mr. Darnell always watched TV loud. Tonight, his windows were dark, like nobody lived there. I parked in my driveway, and my chest tightened. Not pain, more like pressure. I stared at my front door, and felt like it wasn't mine. I stepped onto the porch. The wood creaked under my boots. I reached for my keys. My fingers slipped. The porch light flickered once, then steadied. I opened the door. Cold air met warm air. And the first thing I saw was my living room clock. It was stuck at 2:17. I knew that clock. It never stopped. I walked closer, and heard nothing ticking. My phone buzzed. 11:42. A chill ran through me. Not from the air, from the feeling. Like I was being watched. Then the hallway light blinked twice. Slow, deliberate. My stomach turned, and that thought returned. Do not go inside yet. I stood in my doorway, half in, half out. I tried to reason with myself. It's a bulb. It's a clock. Relax. But my body wouldn't relax. My shoulders stayed tight. I took one step inside, and stopped again. The air felt thicker past the threshold, like walking into a storm cloud. I backed up, quietly, like someone might hear me. Then I heard it, a soft sound from the back of the house. Not a voice, not footsteps, more like a drawer sliding, very slow. My heart jumped, and I froze. I whispered, "Hello." My voice sounded too small. No answer, only that heavy quiet. I shut the door without locking it. My hands shook. I walked off the porch, and moved toward the sidewalk. That's when Mr. Darnell's door opened. Just a crack. He leaned out, squinting. His robe hung loose. "Caleb," he said softly. "You okay?" I tried to smile. It came out crooked. He looked past me at my door, then back at my face. "Don't go in," he said. Simple. Firm. I blinked. "What?" He swallowed hard. "I heard glass earlier. From your place." My mouth went dry. I thought it was just. He shook his head. "Call someone. Now." I stepped back into the streetlight glow. My phone felt slippery in my palm. I didn't want to call the police. I didn't want the drama. Then I remembered that soft drawer sound. And the stop clock. I dialed anyway. My thumb pressed hard. While it rang, my mind raced. What if it's nothing? But a deeper part of me spoke. What if it's not? A dispatcher answered. Calm voice. Standard questions. I gave my address. I kept my voice steady. She told me to stay outside. And keep distance. I hung up. And realized I was holding my breath. I exhaled slow. Like a prayer without words. I leaned against my car. The metal was cold through my jacket. The street stayed too quiet. Even the wind felt absent. That's when another thought came. Not fear. Not logic. A memory. Renee's voice from years ago. God still speaks, Caleb. Even softly. I hadn't believed her then. I wanted proof. Not whispers. But tonight, the whisper had saved me. I could feel it. I bowed my head anyway. Right there under my porch light. God, I said quietly. I don't know how to do this. My throat tightened. So please help me. I didn't hear a reply. But I felt less alone. Some stories stay with us for a reason. Maybe because they carry a warning we needed. Red and blue lights washed across the street. 2 patrol cars pulled up. An officer approached me, hand resting near his belt. He asked me to stay behind the cars. I nodded fast. 2 officers moved toward my porch. Their flashlights cut through the dark. They tested my door handle, then paused. One of them pointed upward, toward the kitchen side. I followed his gaze. My kitchen window was open. I knew it had been closed. I always locked it. The officer spoke into his radio. Then they entered carefully. I stared at my house. Every shadow felt sharp. Minutes stretched. My stomach churned. Then I heard a loud call. Clear. But their faces didn't look relaxed. The officer returned to me. He asked if anyone else had keys. I shook my head. No, just me. He told me someone had been inside. Recently. A back drawer was pulled out. My laptop bag was moved. The worst part wasn't stolen items. It was the kitchen floor. A small pile of broken glass. From a cup I never used. It looked staged. Like someone wanted noise. Then he said something that hit me. There's fresh mud by the back door. My mind went blank. They had been close. Close enough to hear me come in. Close enough to hide. I imagined myself walking inside. Turning the hall. Meeting a stranger in my dark house. My knees felt weak. After the officers left, I sat in my car. I didn't want to sleep inside. My hands still shook. Not from cold. I opened my phone and stared at Renee's missed calls. Then I called her. Finally, she answered on the first ring. Like she was waiting. Caleb, she said. Her voice was soft. I tried to speak, but my throat closed. She didn't rush me. She just stayed there. When I finally told her everything, she went quiet. Not shocked. Not smug. Just quiet. Then she said, I prayed for you today. I felt uneasy all afternoon. I swallowed. You didn't tell me. I didn't want to scare you, she said. But I asked God to cover you. I stared at my dark porch and the stopped clock behind the window. For the first time in years, I believed her. Morning came slow. Gray sky. Thin light. I walked into my house with every lamp on. The air felt normal now. The digital clock still showed 2:17. I replaced the batteries. It started ticking again, like it had never stopped. But I knew better. Something had paused. I cleaned the glass pieces in silence. Each tiny shard felt like a reminder. Later, I drove to Renee's place. She hugged me hard. No long speech. No lecture. She just said, You're still here. Like that was everything. We sat at her kitchen table. She poured coffee and listened. Then she asked one question. What have you been running from? I looked down at my hands and felt truth rise up. Not from her. From inside me. I told Renee I felt empty lately. Like life was a list. Work. Bills. Sleep. Repeat. No peace. I told her I avoided prayer. Because it reminded me of what I lost. My dad had died 5 years earlier. And I never grieved properly. I just stayed busy. I stayed numb. Renee nodded slowly. Like she understood. She said, Sometimes God gets our attention gently. And sometimes, He has to get it loudly. I thought of the silent street. The blinking light. The stopped clock. I whispered, Why now? She answered, Maybe you were finally quiet enough to hear. That line stayed with me. That night, I went home again. But I didn't rush past the quiet. I stood in my living room. I listened to the clock ticking. Then I sat on the couch and did something simple. I prayed a short prayer. Not fancy. Not perfect. God, I'm here. I'm sorry I've been gone. I waited. No thunder. No bright light. Just a calm settling in my chest. Like a hand on my shoulder. I opened my Bible app. The verse of the day was on screen. It talked about being watched over. Even in the night. I didn't cry. But my eyes burned. Because I knew something now. That wrong feeling was also protection. And maybe it was invitation. Some nights feel wrong for a reason. Not to harm us. To wake us. If you've ever felt that quiet warning inside, pause. Listen. It might be mercy. And if this story stayed with you, let it mean something. You can like the video to help others find it. You're welcome to subscribe for more untold faith stories. If you want faith-building books and resources, check the description. Something there may strengthen your walk. Tonight, I still remember that stopped clock, and I still remember the whisper. Do not go inside yet.